Next, we're going to take that same chromatic scale. So it's the scale that you're using to go ascending and descending on the strings, and then moving up a fret, really moving it wherever you want, to try out different positions for your fingers. This time, instead of letting all of the notes ring out, so our palm is not on the strings near the bridge of the guitar at all, so the strings are allowed to, here's on the 5th fret. You hear all those notes in full. This is called palm muting, and it comes in really handy in all kinds of music, from bluegrass and country to metal and blues. What we're going to do is, instead of having your picking hand above the strings and not touching, we're just going to allow the heel of the hand, of the right hand, to barely rest. I'm not pressing at all. I'm just barely letting it rest. And what that does is stops the vibration of the strings. So if you're playing a chord, and if you're picking the notes of a chord and you're palm muting, it sounds something like this. Whereas picking them aloud is with no muting. So for the chromatic scale, comes in really handy in practicing this technique, and you're just going to play the chromatic scale, but with your palm barely touching the strings. It's just kind of like your right hand is relaxing. So you go. I'm playing it just the way I would if I wasn't palm muting. With my left hand, everything's the same, but if I wasn't palm muting, I would just lift that palm. Here it is on the higher 3 strings, palm muted. And without it. So when you practice your chromatic scale, try to practice a little of both. Maybe do one sequence all the way up and down, say on the first fret, move to the second, try to lie your palm down there and get used to picking with your palm barely touching those strings. This really helps when you want some strings in a chord or a passage that you're playing to not ring and other notes to be emphasized. Being able to use your palm to just mute a little bit those notes that you want. This is the first step in being able to do that.